Marti. I think there have been a few complaints about me as well, Marti, so don't worry. You're not alone. We want kids to have the skills they need as adults. So how do we teach them about managing money? Andrew Lendnal helps us clue up kids so they are debt-free. And you have a book, Gold Start, Teaching Your Child About Money. And we have to talk about your name. I'm sorry, Andrew.
Yeah, well, go for it.
But it's just brilliant. So when you were a boy growing up and you knew your last name was Lendnal, don't lend, did you think, I've got to go into finance?
Yeah, I found that out the hard way when I had a friend who's actually quite a well-known artist in the US who drew caricatures, and he would always draw me with someone asking me for money, and my hands would be pulling my pockets out and nothing would fall out. So yeah, so that was the sign, unfortunately.
And so you worked for a number of years as a financial advisor,
yes,
is that correct? And then what made you decide you wanted to write a book?
Well, I actually, this is about the 5th book that I've written now, but it all started when I had clients come into the office, and clients were earning very good money. They might have been earning $80,000, $100,000, but they were spending 120 of it. Yes. And I sort of looked at their situations and I said, well, you know, a lot of financial advisors sort of struggle helping clients like that because a lot of they don't have the fundamentals, i.e. budgeting. Yes. And so initially I wrote a book on budgeting. But then I looked at the deeper source, the root of that problem, and I realised that it was because when children grew up at school, they didn't actually get that financial education that they needed, and voila.
Here's the book, and it's so important, and I have noticed that schools these days are teaching economics a little bit earlier and even teaching the value of money and how to shop and so forth when they're in primary school. When do you think is the right age to start introducing the concept of money to your children?
Well, really, as soon as children can start to count, they'll start appreciating numbers and likes, so you can introduce numbers and the concepts behind that. Also, they'll be at the stage when you go to the store or shopping with them and they get the I want it's. And as soon as they have the I want it's, Houston, we have a problem. Oh. You need to start talking to them about financial concepts. And the good thing about it is that we've got the whole world around us that we can use as our financial classroom.
What are some of the basic concepts you should be teaching your children when they're little about money?
Firstly, introducing the aspects of money by way of denominations and counting money. Yes. So that they appreciate that there's a value surrounding money.
So, for example, $1 equals 100 cents, that sort of thing.
Exactly. Okay. Then you need to look at the 4 fundamentals that I talk about in the book, whereby start outlining to them that money is earned and it's not just given to you.
Yes, I remember saying that, you know, mummy goes to work to earn money so we can eat, that sort of thing.
Correct. Yes. And then you need to introduce the concept of saving and the concept of smart spending, and finally something which, to give a nice balanced approach, the concept of sharing or philanthropy.
Oh, that's interesting that you should be speaking to your children about a bit of philanthropy. Now, you talk about the concept of saving, and yet you controversially say don't have a piggy bank. Why should children get rid of their piggy banks?
Sells more books that way, actually.
Oh, really?
But no, but seriously, piggy banks are technically flawed. They only have one slit, and they've done really well for banks over many, many years, and people love collecting piggy banks, but they only have the one slit, teaching your children and yourselves to only save money. Well, that's fine. You're growing that balance in your bank account, but it's not teaching you how to spend that money, not teaching you how to share that money, not teaching you how to invest that money. So ultimately, I would have a piggy bank with 4 slits, and I would dedicate my income or my pocket money or my allowance to the different slits based on the goals that you have dedicated for your money.
You could start up a new business, a new 4-slotted piggy bank.
Yeah, well, there are a few out there. Yeah.
Are they really?
Really, in the States, yeah.
Oh, because based on this concept about where money comes from and how it goes to different areas. Now, let's talk about teenagers, because I think that's important as you know, once people are getting pocket money and so forth. What's your thought about how much you should tell your children about how much money you and your partner have, or you on your own have? Because they can talk. That's my only concern.
Yeah, well, I have a 7-year-old, as you do too, and if you tell them too much, their friends find out, and their friends' parents find out, and suddenly you get eyeballed and looked up at or looked down at and the like. So financial discussions, family discussions, and sparking that discussion with your children on a regular basis is very important. But you need to judge where your child is at. If you know that loose lips sink ships, don't give them details, because everyone will know your personal affairs. So when they're younger, you can talk more about concepts, how things work, about bargain shopping, about budgets that you may have, or the trips that you're planning, and why we're not buying something on this occasion because we're saving for something else. So conceptual discussions.
But as they get to be teenagers, you can be more specific.
More frank, yes.
Thank you so much, really great. And I'm loving your name, and your book looks great. Thank you very much for sharing the concepts on the show today. And stay with us. Andrew is going to join Jeanette McDonald and Raven Can to answer your tricky questions. We're back soon.